Welcome back to my shit show. Thank you for watching. And please like and subscribe to the channel. And I promise to love you forever. Also, I know I'm really annoying about these pictures. my girlfriend or my girlfriend and I are doing this, and they're just so funny to me. We're gonna take a lot more, but this is what we're doing to stay entertained. We're having a good time. So I wanted to share this before we got into some heavier things. And I wanted to do this psychology video next because these are two things that I'm pretty passionate about. And I don't think that we talk about it enough. Everybody has losses. So it's important to, at least I think, self-reflect on these losses, because I think that we all know that this is where you're gonna learn most of your lessons. And I do want to touch on men's mental health because I don't think that you guys get enough credit for the emotional hardships that you go through, mostly on your own. So I'm going to share a personal story about loss and failure and related to the markets too. I feel comfortable sharing this because I know that everybody has losses and failures, and I also don't care what you have to say about it either. Nobody gets to judge you for how you've had to survive so far in life. So if anybody has anything to say about my life, I'm going to tell you where to shove it. So, in my last video, I said that I lost 50 pounds, and that's true. This is me at 107 pounds, and the heaviest I was 150, so spot on, 50 pounds. What I didn't say was I lost 50 pounds, gained it all back, and then lost 20 again. I experienced a loss that put me back into relapse, and it took me months to get back out of it. It's not easy talking about these things. This picture was taken in December of 2018, and I didn't know that in February of 2019 was going to be one of the worst days of my motherfucking life, and still is. I went on a very deep downward spiral after that. I stopped eating well. I stopped exercising. I wasn't sleeping well. And I developed a drinking problem. So it took me a year and a half to get down to this weight, and it took me a matter of months to gain it all back again. It's very hard. Taking loss after loss after loss. And I made it even harder on myself because while I was taking losses in my personal life, I'm also taking loss after loss after loss in the markets too. So it got to a point, I told myself I had to stop. I know that I'm taking losses because of the mental state that I'm in. So I'm glad that I had the self-awareness to know that I need to take time away. But I did still watch, though. I'm not at all suggesting that people use the market as a coping mechanism. However, it did give me something concrete to hold on to. It's just numbers on a chart. Very unemotional when everything else in my life was feeling emotional. So, how do you come back? I mean, I told you this is like the worst case scenario for me at the time. February 2019, I took a loss, like a fucking big failure, a huge rejection. And I spiraled down to the beginning again. How? How do you recover? Everybody has gone through this. I know that they have. In the markets, I used this time when I was taking loss after loss after loss. Sit, chill, watch. I became very familiar with chart patterns and price action during this time. It was something concrete for me to hold on to, and taking the emotions out of it, I can see it for what it is. Not what I want to see, but what it is. The market is always right. I'm sure you've learned that by now. So taking the emotions out of it, because I think that I'm right all the time, I see it for what it is. If you're taking loss after loss after loss, it's okay to say, I gotta stop. I can do other things right now that would be more productive than me losing money. So take time, study, go back. I still use this chart patterns and price action today. I'm so grateful that I took the time to do this. It's helped tremendously that I made a good decision in a bad time. I know it's hard. I know it is. And I'm not at all trying to be laissez-faire about crawling yourself out of an early grave. I've done it. Feels like nothing is going to get you back. And you don't know what it would take either. If I could go back and tell myself that you're going to be smarter, you're going to be more resilient, you're going to learn faster because you went through this, maybe it wouldn't have been so bad. But I do feel that way. Looking back on it now, I'm glad that I went through it. No, not easy. And not at all am I trying to be laissez-faire. I know that changing your mindset isn't going to fix all of your problems. I know that. I'm saying that it's a good place to start, though. It was for me anyway. So this is how I came out of that very deep and dark place where I'm back on square one again. How do I get out of this? These two things is what I've used as a cure-all in my life ever since this happened to me. Gratitude for the things that I have helped change my life. Knowing that I have food to eat and a place to sleep and clothes on my back really puts into perspective the things that you think that you're missing. Persistence is another one that I wanted to talk about because I think that this, coupled with gratitude, is really how you get out of it. You have to be consistently grateful for what you have and keep working towards what you're wanting. This has not only helped me get out of a dark place, but it's helped me stay in a good place. So every morning, I wake up and I identify 3 things that I'm grateful for. Now that I'm looking for them, it's easy to find. I'm so grateful for anything that I have. Relating this to the markets, there is talent everywhere, but opportunity is not everywhere. There are people who would trade better than me, who wouldn't take as many losses if they had the opportunity to do it. I have the opportunity to pursue this passion every day. If you have clothes, a place to sleep, and clothes on your back, that makes you 75% more wealthy than the people living on this earth. So put trading into its place. I get to pursue this dream. There are kids who don't know where their next meal is coming from. As a free-thinking adult, I choose my life. I'm in full control of it. So put trading where it needs to be. This is an opportunity. Even if I'm taking loss after loss after loss, there are lessons to be learned. And you have to be grateful for those lessons. Everybody has to learn them, especially when you're trading. Market tuition in exchange for market intuition, if you want to get really deep. It is only money. We can fight all day if money makes you happy or not. But I do think that we live in the greatest time ever. There are so many opportunities. There's free education everywhere. Put it in its place. It's just money. You still have people that you can rely on. Your basic needs are covered. And you have the opportunity to get the money back. Reset your mind. If you take the emotions of your losses into the next one, that's when you start spiraling. I mean, in my personal life, with my trading, if I was taking the emotions of my previous loss into the next one, it just made it that much worse. So reset your mind by being grateful for the opportunity to lose money. That sounds really, really stupid. But it's true. There are people who would do unspeakable things to have the life that you have, the opportunities. So that's how I had to get over it. Put it back into its perspective. And I did want to talk about this. I don't think that I could have gone through what I went through without my girlfriends. I think that they are the reason that I'm where I am today. Because I had emotional support when I needed it. And I don't think that men get enough credit for going through emotional hardships on their own. So I always recommend therapy. I feel like men hate to hear that. But I see it. They get paid not to judge you. And you get to selfishly talk about yourself for an hour. men go through things too. And I hope that we are making steps in our society to normalize therapy. I think it's good for everybody. I've been in therapy for many, many years. I am a child of teenage parents who eventually both abandoned me. If I didn't have a sounding board to tell me that what I went through wasn't right, wasn't fair, and wasn't normal, maybe I would have stayed in an anxious and depressed and overweight lifestyle. I had my girlfriends, I had my therapist, I was free and encouraged to talk about what I was feeling. Do men carry the emotions of their losses into the next one? I don't know. I feel like they're not as encouraged to speak about what they're feeling and know that your feelings are valid and they're allowed to defy logic. You can say that I'm unhappy, and nobody can tell you that you're not allowed to feel that way. It is the only thing that can defy logic. If your head and your heart are battling, because I think that mindset is so important, I usually go with what I'm feeling, whether it's logical or not. And I'm not sure that men are encouraged to do the same thing. Not always in situations is it the best option. But if you have a choice of going from unhappy to happy, you can say that you're going to do whatever it takes to get there. And nobody can say that you're not allowed to. Everyone deserves to be happy. For example, I've had a hard time leaving bad relationships. I'm allowed to say that I'm unhappy, and leaving this relationship is going to make me happier. Nobody's allowed to say that I'm not allowed to be unhappy, whether it's logical or not. And no one can stop me from making decisions to living a happier life. And I've had really good therapists help me set those goals and give me the tools to reach a happier life. I am happy now. I'm grateful that I went through what I went through. I wouldn't wish it on anybody, nor would I like to go through it again. Am I where I want to be? No. I'm working towards that. Am I grateful that I'm not where I used to be? Definitely. I hope that this was helpful. That is the end of my slideshow, though. If you have any suggestions on what you would like for me to discuss next, you can reach out to me. But I've got plenty to talk about, and I love hearing myself talk. But I do love you, and I will see you in the next video.